3 rounds of discussion with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first from a Zoom call in Columbia, South Carolina, Matthew, aka the Unbreakable Spirit. And his opponent from a Zoom call in Atlanta, Georgia, Daniel, aka the Executioner. Take it away, Matthew.
Thank you, Jesse, for that wonderful introduction. Season's Beatings, listeners. Welcome to what I guess we should call the holiday special of Add-ons with the Unbreakable Spirit
and the Executioner, Daniel Travis. What's up, losers?
And here I thought on a holiday episode he wouldn't interrupt me.
Ha! No.
Anyways, we got 3 topics for you today, as per usual. Number 1 is WWE referees versus AEW referees. Which one is better? Which one is worse?
Who's more stupid?
Yes, who is more competent than the other one? We each have our opinions, but for all we know, they can be the same. Topic number 2, the best and worst of
professional wrestling.
Professional wrestling for 2021. That's probably also going to be AEW versus WWE. Now that I think about it. And the final topic will be a little bit...
wrestling terminologies, basically.
Yeah, what I'm going to call Speaking Wrestling 101.
Yes. So let's start with topic number 1. Which referees are more competent? WWE refs or AEW refs?
And I think we need to explain what sort of spurred on this topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we were watching NXT 2.0 this past Tuesday.
Yes.
And there was supposed to be a street fight, surprisingly not called a Miracle on 34th Street Fight. Yeah. They're probably saving that for SmackDown tomorrow.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, yeah, and Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai got into an altercation backstage. And,
They basically just beat the living tar. They beat the hell out of each other. 2 referees came and said, "Okay, you need to get to the ring." And then they continuously beat the crap out of each other. Got to the ring. Continuously battled toward the ringside area.
We didn't hear the first bell ring.
Yeah, but we didn't even hear and then they got into the ring, and then they just continuously beat the crap out of each other. And then all we heard was the final bell. We're like, wait, did the referee ring the bell? What the? What? What?
Yeah. It was very weird. And from what Travis has told me before I started watching AEW, sometimes the referees don't do their job.
And since you have started watching AEW, what do you think now?
I know AEW's not WWE or anything.
But yeah.
But a majority of the referees I have seen have been doing their job, and I just realized I forgot to start the timer.
Oops.
Anyway. So this might be a little bit of a longer segment.
Yes, that's great. But
I feel like it needs it, though.
Yeah, fair enough. But the thing about the AEW referees that I notice is sometimes they're willing to... They actually are more good at noticing when a heel's cheating than I will say that the WWE referees are.
Well, that's because the WWE heels on occasion have managers, and the managers distract the referees.
Yes. I also another example of WWE referees being idiotic is, I don't know. You got any examples? Because I don't know.
If you didn't have examples, you shouldn't have said that. But I will say the AEW refs don't seem like they're made of paper like the WWE refs.
Oh, wait. An example that I could think of is like if a match is going on between, like, I don't know, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. A thing that I've noticed with WWE referees is that sometimes I notice that they barely pay attention to the most obvious things, like your foot's on the rope or something.
Well, that's to create like controversy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like, you
fair.
remember Christian's whole one more match thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, honestly, the refs that are more incompetent, I kind of feel like is WWE.
Yeah.
Like, no disrespect to the WWE referee staff, but like AEW refs seem like they can take a beating and still cause a match.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if a WWE referee gets graced by a piece of paper,
gets speared.
I was just gonna be talking about their frailty. Like, if it gets grazed by a piece of paper, they're gonna have to be replaced by a different referee altogether.
Yeah, that is true. For example,
like, even when it's a special guest referee match and a WWE superstar puts on the referee's clothing, if they get knocked down, they're down for a long time. And these men and women are like trained to do this whole bump thing, like this whole like get knocked down, get back up thing.
Yeah, because an example is you could be in a match with the referee, and you could, whether it be by accident or on purpose, bump into a referee. You could bump into them. You could accidentally, I don't know, you could accidentally hit a referee with a super kick or a spear or some sort of wrestling maneuver, and then they'd be out for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
But I will say this about AEW referees is that I have noticed when they sometimes they're good at making sure that they follow the rules, but I've also noticed that sometimes if it's like if it isn't really like a stipulation match, I noticed that sometimes the AEW refs, even if they pay attention, don't really don't what's the word I'm looking for? Well, even when they pay attention to stuff that they sometimes allow weapons, even if it's just a normal match.
Yeah, which I brought up earlier with the referees sometimes doing their job.
Yes.
But to each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so we got about 1:40 left. Final thoughts before we take a break?
Final thoughts on this is I think that WWE refs are sometimes better at their job, but it's just I feel like sometimes that they barely pay attention to the most obvious of situations sometimes, even if it isn't part of the storyline or whatever.
It's a holiday miracle. We agree on that. I also feel like WWE refs need to toughen up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they get like poked, they'll go down for the count.
Like the poke of doom.
Yeah. And AEW refs need to start doing their job more frequently, which they have gotten better at, but that doesn't mean that it's happening consistently.
Yes.
Anyways, 30 seconds. We're going to take a short break before we hop into the best and worst of professional wrestling. Coming up next. And we're back with the best and worst of WWE. We are
just
professional wrestling in general. I'm sorry. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyways, we actually, full transparency, we
just gonna
we literally just came up with this topic today because we had originally a different second topic, but we forgot what it was.
Yeah. Okay. The best. Okay. No, WWE has done professional wrestling. The best thing. Well, the best thing of this year was shit. I don't know. Oh yeah, CM Punk returning.
Yeah, I was gonna say shocking returns in general was probably the best thing.
Yeah, cause let's see, we had John Cena return. We had Brock Lesnar return.
Like you mentioned, CM Punk.
We had another shocking moment of the year was I don't know. Oh yeah, Daniel Bryan going from WWE from
which you realize after last night, the 3 OG members of the Undisputed Era are now in AEW, right?
Yep. Okay. Now, if people were to ask me, what would I say is okay, match of the year? I have a couple candidates. That being Elena Dragunov and Walter at NXT Takeover 36 earlier this year. That was just another match of the year candidate. Edge v Rollins at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, one I have to say that isn't from WWE actually.
What?
Is Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page.
Oh yes.
That match that went for an hour to a no contest.
Yeah. Which is interesting. Okay. But for me, the best feud of the 2021, I gotta give that to Edge and Rollins.
Okay.
Who would you say was the best rivalry of this year?
Honestly, of this year?
Yes.
I want to say one of the ones that has to do with Roman Reigns. Which he hasn't had that many because people just want to acknowledge the tribal chief, apparently.
It's better than what would happen if you didn't.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I will say for the best, in my personal opinion, the best female superstar of the year for WWE, I gotta give that to Bianca.
Yeah, like if she doesn't win Superstar of the Year, that would be terrible. Just awful. Like she's worked her ass off this year.
Yeah, I will.
Like she's living up to the EST part of her like whole shtick.
Yeah, I will say for professional wrestling, from what I have seen of professional wrestling, probably one of the best. I gotta give that to Britt Baker.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because she's been on, I don't know, I feel like she's had a good year because earlier this year she did win the AEW women's title.
True. But we're getting off topic. This is supposed to be about best and worst, not the at odds awards.
Yeah.
No awards would be given out considering we'd be debating over who deserves it more.
Yeah, okay. The worst things are okay. You want to talk about the worst?
It's obvious. We've talked about it numerous times on
And
this
probably-
podcast.
And probably numerous more times.
Unfortunately, it will probably continue into 2022 and beyond.
Yes, but that being all of the releases, in my opinion, some of these releases that WWE did were just like,
Why?
what? Like The Fiend.
Mhm.
Why? I do.
Some of them make sense. Eva Marie.
Yeah, agreed. Even makes sense, but like I'm gonna mention this only once, but WWE had lightning in a bottle when the Fiend first started and screwed up.
He should not have lost that. What was it? It was like a Ring
Super
of Fire match.
No. It no. The Fiend's character started to go downhill after his loss to Goldberg.
I will give you that. But what I feel like when they really dropped the ball was the Ring of Fire match.
Oh yeah, the Firefly
Which-
Inferno match.
Yeah, the Firefly Inferno. And yeah, that's when they dropped the ball for me. My timer just went off, but
Who cares?
double kickstands, you know?
Yeah, I will say this for the worst I'm gonna mention I will say there have been some pretty good things in professional wrestling. I mean, who would have thought this year that we'd see CM Punk back in professional wrestling again? But the last thing that, and if you ask me, probably the most shocking thing of I don't know, probably the most shocking.
Honestly, it may just be CM Punk because he has in the past he'd never step foot in a wrestling ring again.
Yeah, I would say
Which
that.
is total BS considering he was on Star's show Heels, starring Stephen Amell.
Yes. Okay. Final thing I'm gonna mention. Shocking thing in the year. Yes, that definitely goes to Punk. But I will say that professional wrestling, from what I've seen this year, it's better than it's previous been.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I think pro wrestling had one of its best years, and this may be a hot take. Last year during the pandemic era.
Yeah, I mean, during the pandemic era, which
We had some phenomenal cinematic matches.
yes, we also had in that we also had we had some good matches. We had some
What the fuck?
we had the good, bad, but yes, that is it. That's all I got to say.
Anyways, yeah, we're gonna take a quick break before our final topic, and I hope you're ready to learn some wrestling terminology.
Yes.
And we're back in classes and session, folks. It's time for
Wrestling terminology 101.
Yeah, how to speak wrestling 101.
Now we're gonna start
It's
with
not Rosetta Stone, and we won't be able to hear what you say back if you say anything at all.
yes. we're gonna start with the easiest one, being a jobber. Now, a jobber, okay, that just sucks if that's your job in professional
Yeah.
wrestling.
A jobber, in a more technical term, is enhancement talent.
Yeah,
It's
same thing.
yeah. The and what an enhancement talent is
Your
a
job is to get your ass kicked.
yeah.
That's it.
Basically, think James Ellsworth in WWE.
Yes. Your job is to just be like, is to make whoever you're fighting look strong and pray to God that they don't try to injure you.
Yeah. Like that's a pretty easy explanation.
I mean, the two people that I can think of that have wrestled jobbers and made them look like pancakes is Ryback and Braun Strowman when he was first on Raw. Just
Oh yeah, that.
when he was just yeeting people around like
Except he was
dolls.
like beating up actual like superstars as a part of their roster.
Yes.
But yeah, I think we got that down. And then there are other terms to describe how you, the wrestling fans, react to a wrestler.
Now there are four kinds. There are heels, which I'm gonna say this only once. The heel's job, point blank and straight to the point, is to be hated.
Like I have a love-hate relationship with you.
Yes.
No homo.
But yeah.
And
Basically another way to explain it is if people are not talking shit about you, like I know a lot of wrestlers want to be
think
the cool.
like MJF.
Yeah, a lot of wrestlers want to be the cool bad guys, or just you want people to think you're a cool guy. But quite frankly, your job is to just be a dick.
Again, MJF.
Yes, MJF, The Miz.
CM
Edge.
Punk just circa 2011.
Yeah, Edge. 06 Edge, because oh boy. You try to think of other
Apparently, Bryan Danielson is a heel. I can never tell with AEW fans.
Yeah,
They just cheer about whoever the fuck they want without a care in the world.
yeah, pretty fucking much.
But that's like the great thing about wrestling fans when you think about it.
Sometimes
They either pop or whatever the opposite of that is.
Yeah, okay.
Speaking of a pop is when like the crowd loses their mind.
Or also, a cheap pop is when said wrestler's like, "Oh, I'd love to be an insert name of hometown here."
Yeah, and like I think one of the purest examples of a pop that I can remember in recent memory.
Yeah.
Happened, I believe, pre-pandemic era.
Oh,
in
Edge.
January of 2020. Yes, Edge.
Because, okay, for those of you who have been living underneath a rock or have no access to the internet, for those of you that really don't know, Edge's return was really, really kept under the lowest of radars.
It was kept in like a vault when you think about it.
Area 51, because like for those of you that don't,
that place where Indiana Jones put the Lost Ark.
Yeah, basically is Edge was forced to retire in 2012. 11. But Edge was forced to retire, and we thought, okay, that's it. Edge is retired.
9 years later.
I forget what number it was at the Royal Rumble. I think it was like 20. Oh yeah, it was 26.
I was having TV problems when that happened, and I was and Travis was just telling me what was happening.
I mean, because like I'm just gonna be real, because when Edge returned for professional wrestling, that was just surprising. And then that also was the same year that he had he had a great rivalry with Randy Orton.
Yeah, man, can you imagine if this podcast was happening during the pandemic era? We'd definitely be giving that the 2020 rivalry of the year.
Hell yes. But also, folks, another wrestling terminology is a baby face. Now, your job is to do the opposite of a good guy, of a bad guy. Your job is to get.
I'm leaving that blunder in, by the way.
God damn it. You know what? You talk about baby face.
All right, baby faces are the heroes in the rivalries when you think about it. One of the purest baby faces I can think of is Rey Mysterio. Like, or Jeff Hardy, despite his issues.
That is surprising.
Yeah, but there is a guy who retired like last year, and no matter what he said, he would get a babyface reaction. And I don't care that the timer just went off. We barely started.
Yeah, that basically is the Undertaker.
In a nutshell. Like he did, like when he was working as Vince McMahon's puppet to beat up Shane McMahon that one year, which was really weird. Undertaker was apparently supposed to be a heel, but he could say anything and immediately back to babyface.
Because the reason is because everyone has so much respect. Even Vince has respect for him.
Shockingly.
Yes.
Not really, because he dedicated 30 years of his life to this business.
Yeah. Okay. We also have what's the terminology called?
I'm going to take a break from the characters real quick and tell them what a bump is while you try to remember.
Okay.
A bump is basically whenever someone gets slammed on the mat.
Oh yeah. Then we have those kinds of wrestlers that
are you talking about the what we call the tweeners?
Yeah, the tweeners. There are tweener baby faces and there are tweener heels.
Yes, yeah. And what they are is the fans don't know what to think of them really.
Yes.
Basically, John Cena.
Yeah, basically. Another wrestling terminology that I can think of. Promos, yes. That is basically wrestling.
Literally what we're doing right now.
Yes, that is it.
Except, depending on the company, possibly with a script.
Or possibly without a script.
Again, we had to go WWE versus AEW for that.
Yeah, another wrestling terminology is previews, promo, preview.
Video packages to hype up a match or event.
Yes. You also got these weird. You also got You also got the wrestling. You also got a thing called a finish, which is basically, well, that's simple enough.
Yeah, it's literally self-explanatory. It's the finish to a match. And I hate to say this, but
what?
You know what I'm gonna say.
Oh God, go ahead.
Kayfabe.
Yep. Explain.
Kayfabe is wrestling terminology for something that is planned to happen. An
Well,
example is a kayfabe injury.
yes, a lot of wrestlers do that to film like movies or got personal stuff I need to attend to.
Yeah.
And
And there's actually a joke website that has to do with wrestling called Kayfabe News. Don't believe any of that shit, even if it's believable. Like, meet the second grader who designed the WWE 24/7 Championship. I'm not
anyway,
joking. That was an actual thing they posted, and like they did a Big Show Harambe parody in like 2018.
yeah, another thing, another wrestling terminology is oh yeah, another wrestling terminology is okay, this happens both in movies but in other stuff, botches.
Yes. Oh my god, the botches we could talk about.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen,
But that's a topic for the whole. That's a topic in and of itself.
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm not plugging this guy, but I need to anyway. If you want to know what we're talking about, look up Botchamania.
Yes, Botchamania on YouTube.
I'm
Oh
s-
my god. What I can
yes,
think of in recent memory was the top rope failing in Roman Reigns versus the Demon Finn Balor.
that was a botch.
Yeah, the rope broke.
They're like, oh,
I'm not joking, it literally broke. That wasn't planned.
uh,
Apparently, Finn was supposed to win that match.
man, I could just imagine the WWE executives were like, shit, what the fuck do we
And for
do?
the record, our producer said to go off on tangents, so
So get used to that, people. No, like
yeah,
seriously, get used to it.
please get used to it. We don't.
We don't plan anything.
Yeah, like honestly, like I know we're trying to. This is unscripted.
Yes.
This is like a promo with the AEW tactic instead of the WWE.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
And we forgot a term. Open mic.
Oh, yes. An open mic is basically when the wrestler gets to just, here's a mic, go say whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. Basically, CM Punk started doing that without permission by ripping up scripts the writers gave him.
Yeah. Another wrestling terminology is called submission, which is basically,
Well, that's just. I wouldn't say that's a
okay.
wrestling terminology. It's a wrestling move type.
Okay, what's another wrestling terminology that you can think of?
A spot, maybe?
Yeah, a spot is basically
A moment where they're trying to get a pop.
yeah, or there's another wrestling terminology which is called a close fall, and that is
A depending on the company, either a 2 count or a 3 or 4 count. Because some wrestling companies, don't they go up to like 5 or something?
not that I'm aware of.
Well, yeah, not that we're aware of, but wait, maybe I was thinking of like Japan counting to 20 before it's a count out, which that was a seamless segue into another terminology.
Yes, a count out is basically when you're counted out.
Again, depending on the company, when you're out of the ring for either 10 or
Whatever.
to the count of 10 or 20. There's also we literally won't have to explain this, but disqualification.
Yes. Now, most bad guys, heels, tend to use that rule to bend the rules with that.
Yeah. And like and another thing that I just saw of count out in WWE is you have to the count of 5 to stop attacking someone in the corner before you get disqualified.
For some reason.
Wow, that was like a double when it comes to terminology.
Yeah, another wrestling terminology is what I like to call another wrestling terminology is something called a pinfall.
Yeah.
Where your job, and this is like from what I have watched on professional wrestling, is difficult because you got to keep your opponents down for 3 seconds. And also, there's another wrestling terminology where it's called calling it out, where basically wrestler A tells wrestler B, okay,
to get your ass out here, I wanted to say it to your face.
And also,
and you forgot kick out.
Yeah, which is basically when you kick out. But also, basically another wrestling terminology is called wrestler calling a spot, which is basically wrestler A telling wrestler B to hit me with, I don't know, hit me with the super kick.
Really, way back in the days of like Bret Hart and the British Bulldog and all that, the British Bulldog showed up to a WWE pay-per-view intoxicated
in the UK.
And forgot the entire match he was gonna have with Bret Hart, and Bret literally carried him through arguably the best match of the British Bulldog's career.
Yes.
He literally had to tell him what they're doing in the match.
Yeah. Another wrestling terminology, which is maybe okay. You know what?
I think we're good. I think we're good. If you like this, we'll do it again. Maybe this can become a yearly thing.
Yep.
But thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week to a more regular episode with more debates and discussions.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and follow if you're on Spotify or Anchor. Like our Facebook page on Facebook, At Odds with the Unbreakable Spirit and the Executioner podcast. Yes, I know the title's long, but I don't care. We'll be back next week with more debates and discussions. But until then, the Executioner and the Unbreakable Spirit will still be at odds.
Bye.
Bye.